Do you live in a murder zone?
I hope not.
Well, me too. Anyway, this essentially, this is just, it's general information. It was a study that was done, actually. First, just some general information. According to a 2021 Pew Research Center survey, household gun ownership rate in rural areas was 79% higher than in urban areas.
That seems low to me. 79% higher.
Yeah, I would say not 100% of the people responding to the polls.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is us rural guys, we don't really share that information very freely.
It's like, what's the joke? It's like, I had 5 guns, the government took 5, how many guns do I have? 19! I didn't tell them I had all of them. Okay, so suburban households are 37.9% more likely to own guns than urban households. Despite lower gun ownership, urban areas experience much higher murder rates, and while one should not put much weight on this purely cross-sectional evidence over one point in time, there's many factors that determine murder rates. However, it's still interesting to note that so much of the country has both very high gun ownership rates and 0 murders. So that was just a Pew Research study thing. So there was another study that was done by the Crime Prevention Research Center that really kind of illustrates this, and this is kind of the meat and potatoes of this. This study found that murders in the U.S. are becoming increasingly concentrated in densely populated urban centers in just a handful of counties. So, some 73% of all murders in the U.S. took place in just 5% of the counties, while 50% of all counties reported no murders at all. So, murders in the United States occur in very small areas, and that concentration has increased since 2014, the study stated. The concentration in 2020 is now greater than in 2010. This report comes as a violent crime wave that ballooned in 2020 still rages in some parts of the country. Murder is not a nationwide problem, the study found. It's a problem in a small set of urban areas, and even in those counties, murders are concentrated in small areas inside of them. And any solution must reduce those murders. So murders spiked in 2020 as COVID-19 lockdowns upended daily life and protests and riots. Well, remember those, right?
It seems obvious to me that they probably need more gun laws in the urban areas. Like
interestingly, most of these urban areas have some of the strictest gun laws.
They need more of those stickers to put on
the
storefronts, and
because that stops it all.
It does.
It does.
Once they see that sticker, they stop.
So murders increased by nearly 30% in 2020 compared to the prior year, marking the largest single-year increase in killings since the FBI began tracking the crimes. So the center, led by founder John Lott, divided counties into 3 different groups based on the amount of murders recorded in those counties. A majority of counties that experience no murder, a smaller group of counties that see low murder rates, and a tiny set of counties where murders are very common.
Okay.
So, some 68% of counties did not exceed 1 murder in 2020, which accounts for 2.6% of all murders, according to the report. Many of those counties, so 52% in total, have 0 reported murders. The data was compiled through the FBI's 2020 Supplementary Homicide Report. Though not all states reported such data that year, or underreported data, researchers also then used states' open crime data as a substitution in those instances.
Okay.
The study found that within the counties themselves, murders and other violent crimes, and also they were concentrated in certain areas. So the study pointed to Los Angeles County zip codes as an example. So LA County is a fairly large county, but the murders were happening in very specific zip codes. The worst 10% of zip codes reported 41% of the murders in the county, and the worst 20% of zip codes accounted for 67%. So let's break it down. Most everyone knows, how many states are there, Evan?
If you ask Obama, it was like 57, right?
Well, okay, well let's just assume that someone knows.
Virgin Islands, no. Puerto Rico, okay, no. 50.
Yeah, 50 states.
All right.
So there's 50 states in the United States. What most people don't know is that that's made up of 3,033 counties. So we have a lot of counties. So a recent study based on the 2020 murder crime statistics found that 5% of those counties accounted for 73% of all murders. Even more shocking, 2% accounted for 56% of the murders, and the worst 1% of counties accounted for 42% of all murders in the country as a whole.
So 300, let's see.
That's 31 counties.
31 counties. Wow.
Out of the 3,033 was 42% of all the murders.
Unbelievable.
Even within those counties, however, the study found that the murders are very heavily concentrated still in small areas, focused in densely populated urban centers.
I've got some suspicions about these counties.
Okay,
I'm not going to say them, but I'm going to let you
we're
finish.
not done yet. We're going to drive it down even further.
All right.
0.3% of the counties, or 11 counties, comprised just under 25% of all the murders in the country.
11 counties out of 3,033
is 25%.
That is crazy.
So let's look at those counties, okay? I know this is where you wanted to go. Illinois' Cook County to Chicago.
Who would have thunk it?
Yep. So the Illinois' Cook County, Chicago,
Lightfoot.
40% of Illinois' state's population had the most amount of recorded murders of any location in 2020 with a whopping 775, representing 3.98% of the national total. This was under the leadership of Mayor Lori Lightfoot, which she is
my hero. She is a Democrat.
She's a Democrat, yep. Los Angeles County, 691 murders, 3.5% of the nationwide total. Primary urban area, Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass, I'm
going to guess Democrat?
Democrat, yep.
Oh.
Harris County, Texas, 537 murders, 2.8% of the national total.
I'm going to go out on a limb. Democrat?
Yeah. Houston, Mayor Sylvester Turner, Democrat. Philadelphia County, 495 murders, or 2.6% of the national population, or national total of murders. Philadelphia, Mayor Jim Kenney, a Democrat. New York cities, which New York is a massive city. It's comprised of 5 counties in and of itself. So usually you have a city and a county. In this case, you've got 5 counties that are in New York City. So that includes Bronx, Kings, New York, Queens, and Richmond counties. A combined 465 murders, 2.4% of the national total. Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat. Wayne County, Michigan, 379 murders, 2% of the national total. City, Detroit, Mayor Mike Dugan, a Democrat.
Come on, at least put one Republican in here, dude.
Shelby County, Tennessee, 311 murders, 1.6% of the national total. City, Memphis, Mayor Jim Strickland, Democrat. Maricopa County, Arizona, 299 murders, 1.5% of the national total. City is Phoenix, Mayor Kate Gallego, Democrat. Baltimore City County, 291 murders, 1.5% of the national total. Baltimore, Mayor Brandon Scott, a Democrat. Dallas County, 281 murders, 1.4% of the national total. City is Dallas, Mayor Eric Johnson, Democrat. And finally, rounding it up, Marion County, Indiana, 234 murders, 1.2%. Indianapolis is the city, Mayor Joe Hogsett, a Democrat.
So, the anti-gun Democrat platform has direct correlation and causation to higher. I mean, this proves it, doesn't it? I mean, this is pretty easy to look at.
Yep.
Pretty easy to look at, and something's not working here. That the top, how many were there? 12. I think there are 12 of them.
11 counties.
11 counties.
Yep.
Top 11 counties are
25%.
If you could sprinkle in a couple that had different leadership, then it's kind of up in the air as to what works.
But this is completely one-sided.
Very clear, very clear. When your life is on the line, this is how they think, that the cops are the only ones that should have guns. They can't account for the bad guys that have guns, but when your life's on the line, the cops are still 5 minutes away from saving your ass.
When seconds count, the police are just minutes away.
That's right. There you go. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
So, I want to show you this in graphic form, though, because this is just fascinating. So let me pull up this map, and I'm going to make it bigger because this is obviously hard to see. This is the map that they compiled, and these are all the counties in the country. And the darker red that they are is the higher the murder rate is.
The bloodier.
The bloodier they are, right. So just kind of look at that. Now, do you remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about
this is going to be
voting?
good. This is going to be good.
Voting, And of course, as a state, states would go one way or another. But if you looked at the county level, the actual political map really shows that most of the country is, Republican red, and it's just these major urban areas that are Democrat blue. I want you to look what happens when I flip this over to that map. Now look at all those red spots. Now watch. They all turn blue. This is the geopolitical voting map.
Isn't that amazing?
So, and let me highlight it here now. So these are all the blue areas. So I'm going to highlight the top murder zones.
Almost.
Now most of those little blue areas
are
most
gone.
of them turn yellow.
Yep. That's unreal, dude. That's fantastic. It's got me sold.
So I mean, it's just
Evidence is there.
yeah. So it's just it amazes me that these same politicians that are trying to take the guns away from, I'll just call it the majority of the country, to the Republican states, in the areas that they control, the crime rates are completely off the hook. The murder rates are off the hook. Places where you should be armed for your self-defense, if at all possible, they're disarming those people and they're dying in
because
droves
of it.
because of it.
Yep.
So that was pretty much what I had on that
That was a
segment.
good one. That was a good one. All right, we had a couple other comments here. We've got
Uncle Mike, yeah, Louisiana has parishes. You're absolutely correct. It's parishes as opposed to counties. They just kind of rolled it all up and called it counties.
leave it to Mike to correct us, man. Thank you.
And let's see. I like here, dot connector. The government and criminals will always have arms. So should the good people. That's absolutely correct. Because you know who doesn't follow any type of gun laws? The same people that don't follow any other laws. The criminal.
That's right.
I hope you've enjoyed this clip from the Craig's Gun Channel Random Shots program. The program airs Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Random Shots, we discuss content from ranging anything from preparedness, survival, politics, firearms, basically anything that's 2A related, with sometimes some rabbit trails on things that aren't related at all. If you enjoy this type of programming, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified when we release new content. And if you like it, hit the like button and share us if you would as well. It helps the algorithm and helps the channel grow and helps get our message out. So I guess until next time, stay safe.